What's up YouTube, Capital G here. As promised, this was the finals of the Robbie Chan sponsored Mega Pack competition that we did on Saturday on twitch.tv. This tournament, I would say, was a riveting success. Not only did we get, I'm just going to think it was a record high of 256 people for an online tournament, but I mean, it ran as smooth as possible for a tournament that was that damn big. Not to mention, this match was, it was a really good finals. And, you know, there were points in the tournament where I was like, man, this is so complicated and hectic and stuff like that, but this really made it all worth it. And you know, we put up there was what, I think 30 packs at stake here. So, you know, a lot of people went into this. They were definitely trying to top. We got rid of the meta decks like Cosmo and Burning Abyss and Monarchs because we didn't just want to have, you know, Resident Sleeper. Like, you want to watch that, just watch it, read the blog on YCS or something like that. But I wanted there to be interesting decks. I wanted people to feel empowered to, you know, try other decks. I said I'd even have something special if somebody made top 8 with Gem Knights or Melodious, etc., etc. But without further ado, guys, let me show you guys why you are, you know, watching this video. This is the final. So we have Hacker Quasar at the top. He is playing Performapals, and we had Dreamer Dragon at the bottom, who is playing Blue Eyes. Now, I would think if you're just looking at this, you think, you know, Dreamer Dragon probably bricked, because anytime a deck just sets one card going first, I'm like, oh man, I don't really know how powerful that one card can really be. It's probably, you know, they probably are in a bad position. Now, Hacker Quasar does open up with Monkey Board, which is like a dream for Performapals. You just open up with the monkey board or the Joker to get the monkey board. And I know it says that he's in battle phase. He actually misclicked there, so don't think, oh, he's trying to attack with monkey board in the pendulum zone or something like that. He misclicked, and instead of, I guess, going to standby and then main, he automatically clicked battle phase for some weird reason. It was probably just a misclick. So when he summons a monster, don't assume they just attacking. There was something weird going on with my chat, so I just decided to go ahead and refresh it or whatever. So he opens up with the monkey board that gets Joker, and you know, you got to think Performapals are in a really good spot here. You know, you've got access to 2 limited cards, and he even says, Hacker Quasar even says it right there, that you know, he's got the misclick on the battle phase. You see somebody in the chat saying Performapal is garbage and should be banned, and I was like, I think I responded to that while streaming too. I was like, wait a minute, so if it's garbage, then why should we ban it? Like, that doesn't make any sense. The reason we ban Monarchs and Cosmos is because they're too good, and we know that they're pretty much just gonna dominate the tournament. That's the reason why we ban those decks. Sorry, I had to close that thing. That's one of the little things that pop up on my videos. So anyways, I believe Scroll Combat Joker searched out a copy of Lizard Draw, and then he decided to, he decided to just draw another card off the Lizard Draw. As soon as Hacker Quasar completed his scales, Dreamer Dragon went and he maxed. I guess he was fearing, he was fearing a pendulum summon. Now here's where things get a little wanky here. You see he plays the, Lord, I can't remember what her name is. Nah, not Oof Dragon. What the heck is our Dragon Pit Magician? Okay, I totally brain farted there. He plays Dragon Pit and he pitches Oath Dragon to blow up the back row. Here's the problem, and I think that Dreamer Dragon realized it before the chat did. You have to have another magician in your other scale to activate Dragon Pit's effect. So actually, that was a little bit of cheddar of cheater-rooney right there. And you see the chat is calling him out. The chat is like, chat. And, you know, we fixed the game state. It's as fixed as it's going to be, but I didn't want this finals to be YCS prog rules, which just means chat to win, like, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? So, what's it called? Dreamer Dragon says, hey, you know, you can't activate that effect. The problem is, you know, he now knows what the back row is. I mean, I guess you can say that Dreamer Dragon got some information because he knows one of the cards in Hacker Quasar's hand. And you see here, I'm just saying, hey, you know, I'm issuing a warning. This is a minor penalty for Chet. If you do it again, you know, it's going to be a game loss. So I'm basically trying to make it as official as it could be, you know, because in real life, that's pretty much something that they would do. So he does end up attacking with Scroll Combat Joker. I was kind of surprised. You know, you see somebody with like 4 cards in their hand, and you think that they're going to do a little more than that. But the thing is, his pendulum scale is actually kind of effed up because Monkey Board, I believe, is a scale 4 right now. And then Oath is, I think, like an 8. So he really doesn't have that many great pendulum plays. All right, so he tries to go for Alternative Dragon, revealing the Blue Eyes. Unfortunately, that gets hit with Solemn Warning, and kind of sucks because he has the Blue Eyes in his hand. But he does trade it in for new cards, because you definitely wouldn't want a dead Blue Eyes just sitting in your hand, and your opponent, Hacker Quasar, knows that you have the Blue Eyes. But it's really not looking that good right now. This stream is anti-chat. Not really, but this match is anti-chat. Let's just leave it at that. So yeah, I'm looking at Monkey Board and I'm like, wait, isn't your level, aren't you a scale 4 right now? I'm like, he doesn't really have any great pendulum plays. So he does activate the Silver Scry, the one that we already knew about. He gets his Blue Eyes, and I think he's just going to go to battle phase, which he does. He just goes into battle phase and he runs over Joker-chan. And I actually thought that he'd be able to possibly survive if Hacker Quasar, like, if he didn't have any good cards to pendulum here, because his scales do kind of suck. His scales aren't that great, you know what I mean? Usually you want like a 2 scale and an 8 scale. You want like Dragon Pit to go along with Dragon Pulse or something like that. You want a really low scale. You don't want like a 4 scale or something like that. So he sets a couple of cards, a Spell and Trap, and then a monster, and then he just passes turn, and play goes back to Hacker Quasar, and he hits him with Twin Twister, and he pitches Effect Veiler because he has a normal monster, but he actually blows up his own Monkey Board. I thought that was really smart so that he could open his scale up a lot more, and he's actually going to go after the back row of Dreamer Dragon, the one that he set during his last turn. By the way, I'm asking people, if you see people posting Blue Eyes in the chat, I'm asking people which deck they're rooting for. I'm like, which deck do you guys want to win? And everybody, it was overwhelmingly in the favor of Blue Eyes. So he does put an Oath Dragon in his pendulum scale. Now he has some good low. He has a low scale. You know what I mean? And now I believe he's going to go for that pendulum. He goes for a pen of 4. So he's definitely trying to bring the house down. And he gets back Lizard Draw. He gets back Monkey Board. You don't ever really see people. You don't see people pendulum Monkey Board at all. And he gets back Corinne. Now this is important with Corinne. I think Corinne's one of the hardest cards in the entire game to actually counter. Like Monarch Stormforth is good against it. I guess like the Cosmo ships are kind of good against it. But just in general, if you're not running those or you don't have access to them, I think that Corinne is actually one of the hardest cards in the game to counter. So he's going to activate Corinne's effect, and he's going to bounce the Joker, and that's really, really big here. And he bounces the face down. And I think I take a second to read Corinne, because I was just looking at it. I was like, can Corinne return face downs? I was like, does it have to be face up? I knew it returned monsters. I just wasn't sure if the monster had to be face up. So I was just checking to make sure. And I was like, oh, no, it could just, any monster. So then, of course, he's going to normal summon that Joker, as he hasn't normal summoned this turn. All he did was pinned. And he's going to get another search. And at this point, you would have to think that he's in the driver's seat, not only having Corinne, which is just a problem for a deck like Blue Eyes when you don't have any of your like defensive cards or anything like that, but he's got a full scale on top of that, man. He has possibly some Exceed plays here too. Searches out a copy of Wisdom Eye, which he probably doesn't even need. He might just use that next turn for like an Exceed summon. But he actually shocked me here, because I was like, what is he going for, a rank 6? And sure enough, he buzzed out Utopia Beyond, and now Blue Eyes White Dragon's attack is currently 0. So this is really, really bad for Dreamer Dragon. I don't think it's quite game here, but he's really, what's it called? And you see Zelza, you see people in the chat saying, how did Blue Eyes get this far? So Dreamer Dragon is currently, can we say he's getting bodied? People are now, people are now like, how on earth did this deck get this far, Cap? You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like this Blue Eye, this final seems like a mismatch. You see people, got the Bible thump going on, because again, they're rooting for Blue Eyes. Overwhelmingly, believe me, Blue Eyes was not the favorite going into this match, but it was the one that people were rooting for. I think that it would be considered the underdog. So he only has 200 life points left. In Regeki Twin Twister, that doesn't do it either, because even still, he could just summon the Wisdom Eye and attack. I really don't know. He would have to like Regeki Twin Twister pitch like a stone or something. Like I don't know. I don't know what exactly gets you back into this get you exactly back into this this duel. It looks like this game 1's probably over, but Dreamer Dragon is not willing to give up. Activates Mausoleum of the White, And this is pretty much the back is against the wall, never say die, sets a card, and that's probably the same monster that was set during his last turn. Mausoleum gets MST'd, and yeah, it's not really looking so good, as Hacker Quasar could just he could just normal summon the Wisdom Eye and go into Cowboy and just burn him for game. That would be an option there. He probably has a couple other plays. I'm not sure if he plays Cowboy, but that would probably be what I did. So you see a scoop phase, and we're going into game 2. Now in the chat, there are people actually telling me to play the Kaiba theme for Dreamer Dragon, and I'm like, this is stupid, but I'm like, I think I'm actually gonna do that. You see that, right? I usually ask my chat when I'm on Twitch. I say press 1 for, I say press 1 for like a corresponding action. I'm like, hey, guys, if you guys want me to play the Kaiba theme, press 1 in the chat right now. And you see all of these people immediately typing 1, and I'm like, okay, so you guys really want the Kaiba theme? I'm like, all right, well, if you think that it'll help Dreamer Dragon play better, what the hell? I'll go ahead and not play the Kaiba theme. So I go ahead and I stop the my YouTube homepage is just weird. I don't know. Don't ask me why it has all those weird videos on it. It just is. So we get the Kaiba theme going. That's the hacking theme. And I'm like, is this really Kaiba's theme? I'm like, I want to get the other one. So I get the other theme because I was like, I don't really want the hacking theme. So we got Kaiba here. I go ahead and I pause the music, and I'm like, it's really not going to make a difference. I mean, it doesn't really change the duel. You know what I mean? At the end, even if you're rooting for Dreamer Dragon, he still has to go out there and win. Not just playing some music is going to help him. So I turned it up. I'm like, all right, let's get this going, man. Can Seto Kaiba bring down Yuya Sakaki? Can it actually happen here? Let's see if the music actually changed the duel. Now, if you probably have noticed that Dreamer Dragon is going second this time. So Hacker Quasar, he's up. And I mean, if he can open up with his power cards like Wisdom Eye, Joker-chan, or Monkey Board, then I mean, it's not that big of a deficit going first with Performapals. But there is obviously the chance, that you could brick and stuff like that, because I don't think he's running a full Magispector engine. I think Corinne is the only Magispector that he's actually running. So you see people kind of getting the hype. They're like, hacking theme, play the hacking theme. I'm like, nah, I don't want to listen to that. So he opens up with Summoner's Art, and I was like, what is this, Cleafort? And he's playing that, I guess, just to get Dragon Pit? I was like, what is that? I guess this is next level tech or something like that. I'm thinking, okay, Dragon Pit must be that important to his deck. I mean, it does kind of make sense, but you know what? Let's just go ahead and run with it. Let's see what he does. So we know that he at least has half of a pendulum scale at his disposal. Chances are he's going to complete the scale. Now, when he put Kirin in his scale, I was like, I think he doesn't have a good hand. So he plays Kirin, and then he pendulum summons, or he plays Kirin, then he plays Pit, and then he pendulum summons a Kirin, which isn't really that bad of a deal. I mean, bad of a play. If you've got a Kirin on field, it's pretty good. But I don't love the fact that he had to use a Kirin, because I don't think, now he pretty much locked himself out of using Dragon Pit for the game. Now he gets blasted with Twin Twister, and Fairy Wind is given up, and he loses his face down Light Imprisoning Mirror and Dragon Pit. Now that shouldn't go to the graveyard. Come on, those not playing those YCS prog rules. But he still does, even though he pretty much lost most of his board, he still does have the Kirin, and Kirin is a hard ass card to kill. So Dreamer Dragon doesn't really have a follow-up to the Twin Twister. He sets 3 back row, and I'm like, oh man, how are you gonna Twin Twister him and then you don't have no follow-up? Now the thing is, Pendulum Call was played, and I was like, oh great, now he's gonna be able to get his scales back. They're not gonna be able to get destroyed. I'm like, man, this playing this Kaiba theme didn't work at all. Why did you guys make me play this this random music? You know what I mean? And if you guys see the PogChamps, that's just the stream. There's a little delay on the stream. I think it's like 10 or 15 seconds on the stream from when something happens to when my chat actually reacts to it. So they're saying GG because of the Twin Twister, but they're not seeing the fact that Hacker Quasar just got himself a Pendulum Call off the top. He discarded a copy of I believe he discarded Lizard Draw, and yeah, he got his he got his pendulums. Now you see here, people were asking for it, so I'm like, all right, this dude needs even more help. We're gonna go to the hacking theme. I was like, if there's anything that's gonna help this guy, it's gonna be the hacking theme. So he searches out the Dragon Pit, and he plays the Dragon Pit, and he goes for the Wisdom Eye, and he just normal summons it, And I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. I'm like, he has the full board. His board is pretty expendable. But no, dude, rip. He gets wrecked by the fucking Drowning Mirror Force. I've been talking about this card for, it seems like, forever. Drowning Mirror Force, way too OP. By the way, you can see the price of Drowning Mirror Force on Saturday before the end of the YCS was only $19, and now it's like $35. So Drowning Mirror Force, indeed, way too OP. He clears his entire board out, and it's like, wow, okay, Dreamer Dragon actually has a chance to win this. Like, maybe the theme is actually getting this guy in the game. And then it's just like, all right, man, you've got a little momentum. You cleared his board out. You just have to be able to follow up. Now, he only has 2 cards in his hand, so I was like, I don't really know if he has any momentum that he can do. You know what I mean? Blue Eyes isn't a great top decking deck. You know, what exactly... what can you do with those 2 cards? Show me something. Impress the chat. You know what I mean? Everybody in this chat at this point is basically behind him. They're spamming rest in pepperonis. They're spamming GG. They're like, dude, you have the entire audience in your hand. You just got to do something. And then he normal summons a fact veil. I'm like, oh my God, you are on tilt mode, bro. How are you trying? I thought he was trolling at this point. I'm like, you do realize that the difference between first and second is like, 2 packs. You might be walking away with 10 packs, or you might be walking away with 8 packs. I'm like, you want them packs or you don't want them packs, bro? So I thought he was trolling, but no, he actually activates Sage with Eyes of Blue. And I'm like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing there. You're going to get yourself a little Blue Eyes. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, because I thought he was like trying to go for some troll effect veiler beatdown, doing 0 damage. I was like, I don't understand exactly where this is going, but he actually does get himself a Blue Eyes. Now at this point, you got to think, okay, don't call it a comeback, because Blue Eyes is big motherfucking card, and all those Kirins are gone. You know what I mean? So Blue Eyes gets on the field, and it starts doing some fucking work, and then he flips over the motherfucking Fairy Wind, and I'm like, oh shit. I guess the theme music is actually inspiring him, because when he flipped over that Fairy Wind, dude, chat went absolutely nuts. They were like, oh, GG no re. So you see everybody saying get wrecked. Oh my God, you know what I mean? PogChamp, and he really has everybody on his side. Now he's going with Blue Eyes beatdown, and I think he just actually ran this back, because you see he summons the White Stone of Ancients, and he's gonna go for a synchro play. The thing is, even if Hacker Quasar had a Solemn here, he wouldn't be able to pay for it. It doesn't matter what Solemn it is, whether it's Strike or Scolding or Warning. Now, unless he's running the Ultimate Chet, unless he's running Solemn Judgment, he doesn't have enough life points to pay for a Solemn card. So once he was able to essentially synchro summon and resolve White Stone, I was like, yeah, I think this duel's over, because he gets himself a White Cod Dragon. I know they changed the name in the TCG, but whatever. And he banishes the Set Twin Twister, and then it's like, okay, this duel is dunzo, man. This duel is dunzo. Like the Seto Kaiba theme actually got him in the duel, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of think that theme is what actually worked there. Now, on my stream, I believe in fair being fair, so I was like, yeah, okay, well, if he got to listen to Kaiba's theme on his when he was playing, I was like, let's play the Yuya theme for Hacker Quasar. I was like, fair, sir, right? The people in the chat, they didn't like that. They're like, Cap, no, keep the hacking theme going. And I'm like, come on, guys, fair is fair, man. Fair is fair. If one guy gets to listen to the Kaiba theme while playing Blue Eyes, then isn't it fair that Hacker Quasar should be able to get to listen to the Yuya theme while playing, Performapals Magicians, which both of those archetypes Yuya plays on the TV show. So I was like, let's just go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and play the theme for my homeboy Yuya Sakaki. Now, I was just like, okay, some obviously strange shit is happening in this duel. So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to play this Yuya theme, and I expect Hacker Quasar to just body him. You know what I mean? Because the theme is obviously working. So I go ahead and I start playing the theme. And once again, Hacker Quasar forces Dreamer Dragon to go first. Now, we saw in game 1, when Dreamer Dragon had to go first, it wasn't pretty. It didn't. Blue Eyes to me seems like it needs that extra card. You see people saying, fuck the Yuya. All right, so he opens up with the trade-in, pitching the I think it's White Spirit Dragon or Spirit Dragon of the White, in the TCG. It's a really, really dumb name. They should have just left it White Ka Dragon. So he trades that in to get some new cards. I don't know if he's looking for, he's looking for like the Fairy Winds or the Twin Twisters cards to stop pendulums, or if he's just looking for good cards or what. But he does open up with Maiden, and I'm like, oh, that's not a bad play. Especially if you can, get her. She's kind of an offensive and a defensive card at the same time. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this is actually pretty decent. Now, here's the funny part. You see Hacker Quasar says, ladies and gentlemen. He says, I will do this for all the Performapals and Magician players in the chat. That is hilarious. You guys, if you don't watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V, you won't get the reference. But the main character who plays Performapals, he says that in a lot of his duels. He says, ladies and gentlemen. So you have to watch the show to get the reference. But Dreamer Dragon was not done, and obviously he was not entertained. He was like, yeah, we are not having that shit. So he activates Sage, and he's going to end up tributing his Maiden. Now, at the same time that Sage is activating, Maiden's going to activate too because she was targeted. So instead of getting 1 Blue Eyes, he actually ends up getting 2 copies of Blue Eyes. And, he's got 2 level 8s on the field at a time. So I'm like, okay, well, is he going to go for Felgrand maybe? Is he going to go for Titanic Galaxy? There were some people that were thinking maybe he should have went for Felgrand here. But against a pendulum deck, I kind of feel like Titanic Galaxy is better, right? Like, doesn't it just seem better? Your opponent activates a pendulum scale, you can just absorb it, and then it's pretty much lost forever. Like, even when your Titanic Galaxy dies, it goes to the graveyard, it never hits the extra deck. So it's like, I would rather just go ahead and do that against a pendulum deck. Maybe against like Monarchs, I'll go Felgrand to stop like IDOS and ED and stuff like that. But against like a deck that really has to play spells to pretty much do anything, I think Titanic was the better play. So he just sets 1, he goes for the Titanic, and he has reduced his hand by 1 card. So I wasn't feeling super great. So Quasar opens up with Pendulum Call, pitching, and you see I'm just restarting the theme here. He's pitching Odd Eyes, Odd Eyes Unicorn, and wisely Dreamer Dragon immediately decides to absorb the Pendulum Call. I was like, dude, if you want to win this duel, you have to absorb this Pendulum Call. You just have to. Like, because it's a plus for you. And then your opponent basically, Hacker Quasar went neg on it. So I was like, you can't have him get a full pendulum scale and have them be, indestructible. Now, Hacker Quasar does indeed have the, he does have a copy of, you see here, he does actually have a copy of Summoner's Art, which he plays, I guess, exclusively to get Dragon Pit. We talked about that in game 2, but, he's got half his scale here, and I believe he's going to go ahead and activate that Dragon Pit. No, he activates Oath Dragon first. Then he activates Dragon Pit. But here's the kicker. Dreamer Dragon activates Silver's Cry, and he brings back that White Spirit Dragon, the one that he used Trade-In on. Remember the first thing that he did? He brings it back, and when this thing is special summoned this way, it actually gets to banish a spell or trap on the field. Now, since he never actually resolved that, actually, does it count as actually being resolved? Does it actually count as being resolved, the Pendulum Call? I mean, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because White Spirit Dragon doesn't actually destroy, it just banishes the card. You know what I mean? So I guess to make a long story short, Dragon Pit gets banished. And now I'm looking at Hacker Quasar like, bro, you got your theme music on. What are you doing? You went second. You got the extra plus. You're getting bodied right now. What is happening? And I'm looking at his field. He doesn't have his full pendulum scale. He has no monsters on the field. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to die. And at this point, it's like, oh man. And I guess the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sakaki theme is not good enough. So Dreamer Dragon activates Dragon Shrine. And I was wondering what he was going to send here. I thought maybe he might send like one of the Blue Eyes eggs, you know what I mean? Like I thought maybe he would send White Stone or something like that. But anti-spell. Light Imprisoning Mirror was chained, and this is actually pretty big here because so much of Dreamer Dragon's deck is light, not to mention the fact that even the Exceed, even Titanic Galaxy is light. So basically his whole entire field is just, it's turned off right now, but you can't turn off that damage though. He does have, like 5,500 damage on board. So, you can't really stop that. Now here's the thing that pretty much just seals the game. He activates Melody of the Awakening Dragon. He pitches the Maxi knowing that he won't need it. Gets himself a copy of Blue Eyes, and he gets the Alternative Dragon. Even though it's an effect, it activates in the hand. Well, I think it's inherent. So activates in the hand, so obviously Light Imprisoning Mirror will have no bearing on that. He summons the alternative dragon, doesn't need to activate the effect because Hacker Quasar has no monsters on the field, and then he just decides to swing. Now, even though Hacker Quasar only took 7,500, that is indeed game. You can add up the 2-3,000s for 6,000 damage, then you throw 25 on top of that. That is actually 8,500 damage, and that's how game went. You see a lot of people putting that PJ Salt in there. They're saying GG no re. They're saying hi YouTube, put this on YouTube. It was crazy. It's just after game one, it just felt so certain that Performapals were just gonna run over Blue Eyes, and to me, it felt like something happened. It felt like when we started playing that Kaiba music, something in this duel changed. I don't know if you guys are superstitious or what, but it felt like the momentum. You know, in the show they say swing, pendulum, soul, swing. It felt like all the momentum went to the player that lost, and even the Yuya theme couldn't save him. So I decided to go ahead and play the Kaiba theme again. I was like, yo, it's your day, and this is how we crown the champion, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you guys for watching as always.